I think the less you know, the better about this, and we're just going to go on this journey together. I just want to say thank you to HK Walls, particularly for putting this on, to the US Consulate for bringing Rabbi over here, and yeah, just put your hands together for Rabbi. This is Jen S.
Affectionate with Poppy. My parents were never physically affectionate, you know. Japanese culture is a bit different from European Western cultures.
To find out how this all came together and what it is that you were ultimately looking to achieve through these short stories, these little artistic insights into these people. So let's start at the beginning.
Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, I've known you for a long time, and I know you as a guy that paints on walls. I saw no painting on walls in there. So this is like this huge jump from that guy to this guy. So where was that moment that this idea kind of clicked in and you thought that this was the story or the adventure that you wanted to embark on?
Okay, well, I mean, thank you guys all for coming. And
I think I have to sit further away from you.
Yeah,
These are like real sensitive. Can you turn these down just a little bit or something like that?
okay. We might not even need these. Oh no, okay. Anyways, so I would say like, wow, that was a loaded question. Thank you all for coming, and it feels really cool to be in Hong Kong. And for those of you I've seen before, thanks for coming. I missed you all. It's good to be back. And welcome to all the new people. But we don't have a lot of time, so I'm just gonna get right into it. I do paint walls, and I think walls are great, and I'm here with HK Walls, painting walls. But I don't know, I think I've always cared more than the wall. I mean, I think conceptually, the wall is one extension of art, right? You can paint a wall, you can make a film, you can, wow, there's a lot of things to do. You can be a chef, you can be a fighter. And I think that's where this was me like thinking bigger than myself and sort of, creating works that become relatable, because I think ultimately my purpose, that sounds like the yoga music still playing. But like, I think a big part of what I like to do as an artist is share. I mean, like even when I was painting graffiti when I was younger, like I had a real issue with keeping my identity, closed, right? Because I wanted to be like, that's me, like what's up? Like, so I like sharing my work with people, and this was a way for me to not share not only my work but others. And then like there's something that happens beyond that where others are sharing their work with others. Like right now, these people are sharing their work with you that I made. So it's like my work and their work, and now you're seeing that, and then you're relating to that. And like relatability, I think, is a big part of what I wanted to accomplish with this series, and like with what I do in general. It's like making people feel comfortable with themselves and in situations with others. And like the more you see someone like saying things that maybe they wouldn't say normally or in public, which is what I try to capture with these people, like the more you feel comfortable going like, oh shit, I think the same shit. You know what I mean? And like I think the more we like admit we all just kind of are super doubting, vulnerable, like idiots bumbling around in the world, the easier it'll be to communicate with each other, and bring our guards down. So that's like a kind of answering your question a little bit.
You took a couple of points.
Okay,
I think you're good. So there was definitely like this real intimacy to the conversations, the words that were coming out.
Yeah.
What was the process for that? Because I got a sense that this wasn't necessarily the most conventional setup for an interview process. I felt that. So how was that, and what was it ultimately as a director? Were you, and this is kind of like a cheat question, what were you asking them? What were you looking for?
Okay, that's actually a great question, because I call these like unconventional interviews, and that's exactly what they are. Like, it's not conventional because I'm not interviewing them. Like, there's no mics when I'm there. I go in, I tell you, I'm coming into your space, I'm gonna shoot you doing a bunch of stuff, do what you do, and then I work around them with my team. Also, shout out Dom Archive, he's my ace, and Rachel, who also came out here with me. They're awesome. And Adriana, she's just like my roll dog for life. But okay, back to the question. What was it? So I go in, I shoot these people, and then I have them record themselves privately. I give them prompts. I ask them certain questions. If I know them personally, I'll like give them a bunch of prompts that I think I want to give them. But if I don't, I give them, you know, a variety of prompts. Like some are like, is a hot dog a sandwich? You know, and then like, do you believe in God? Like it just kind of ranges, right? And they record them. I tell them to record themselves where nobody can hear them, and just stream of thought. And like they'll answer the question, but most of the time, it's not the answer to the question. It's where they go after the answer that I try to find. And then that's my favorite part, is where someone says something they definitely wouldn't have said. And I tell them like, please don't stop recording, and like try to be comfortable just giving me whatever you say. And yeah, most of the time, the hardest part is getting these people to allow me to use what they said, because they never expect me to use the parts of what they said that I want to use. And that's why these don't feel like interviews, right? They feel more like you're kind of inside their mind while they're working. And that was the idea, is to have like, hence the title, like thoughts and contradictions. Like I wanted to capture people's sort of weird thoughts and, you know, contradictions, like things they don't have answers for, but think about, you know, because I don't think a lot of us have the answers for everything, you know. And I want to, again, relatability to that, like recognizing that we don't really know what the fuck's going on, and nobody knows what's going on. And people tell you when they know what's going on, like, shut the fuck up.
Really?
So, love you. Oh, Amos is here as well, who is like one of the big producers of this show. He's all the way out here from Vancouver, aka Thailand. Okay.
From Toronto.
Toronto, sorry, Jesus, my
good.
bad. Canada.
It's all good, it's all good.
He's got an accent. He says, "Hey, what are you talking about?" You know?
Anyways,
Thanks for being here.
Yourself. That was
a
good.
genius way to approach like interviews.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you for being a part of this.
Project's collectively called the overarching project Generation Escape, Gen-esque. Is that what that's short for? I'm taking a swing here.
Thank you. Yes, that's right.
What are we escaping?
Wow. Reality. I think this generation, that's why it's called Generation Escape. I think we live in many different realities now. And we live on our phones, we live in the past, we live in the future, we live online, we live in our heads, we live, you know, in the way we project ourselves. And so it's kind of asking the question, like, where do you live and where do you escape to? That's our generation for sure. I mean, we've watched technology. Personally, I'm like, shoot, I'm going to be 40 in a year. Anyways, we watch technology
Do we
come
clap
in.
for that one?
No, please God, don't clap. But yeah, it's heavily inspired by escapism in our generation.
And what does, I mean, the obvious elephant in the room on that one was the fact that we can't see these characters. We know their names, we know what they sound like, but what for you as a director going in does removing these physical attributes achieve? That having access to their physical attributes, you know, you wouldn't get.
Another great question. Thank you, Doug. Thank you. And by the way, give me a round of applause for Doug, please.
Look at that.
Thank you for being here. I'm sorry.
I'll take it.
Okay. No, I mean it's a layered. This whole project is a layered concept, and one of those layers also has to do with identity and the way we are perceived. And so by taking this person's race, you know, gender. I mean, you can sort of understand what gender they are by their voice, but just questioning their identity and not putting their face first, where in a society where we very much put our face first, and you're judging everyone by the color of their skin and the look on their, you know, their style. There's so many things and so many ways to just point your finger and label someone. We love to label things like, oh, this person does that. I mean, as an artist, I don't know if you can relate, like, as soon as you do something and you show it to someone, they're like, that person does that. And it's like, at what point did we come to the place where just because someone does something, that's who they are and that's what they need to be? You know, like, we do live in like a interesting world where yeah, we label and like we reward repetition almost, and it's like there's so many artists throughout the course of history that have done so many different things and been, you know, valued for their, you know, body of work, not just one style. And so then also, like, I like that. Shit, I can come back to the question. But yeah, identity is a big part.
Keep going. It's always the bit after
Identity.
You ask the question and then it's the bit after it, right?
For sure. And I think, yeah, identity. Identity is a big part.
I'm gonna ask you guys a bunch of questions, or ask you guys to ask him some questions, because I want you to do my job for me. But I'm gonna preempt this. So you got like maybe 2 questions for one of you at least to come up with a question to ask him. But I want to know how this then. Actually, no. Before I go into that, what would you say is your biggest? Have you learned, like, if you could take one thing from interviewing and digging into these people, which feels like a lot of this was done during the pandemic. I know there was obviously the one obvious one that was in the pandemic, but it felt like
That's where it started.
it felt like a pandemic project, right?
I was in the studio by myself, and I put on a green suit, and I filmed myself, and then I did a stream of thought process for myself, and then I put it together and did this idea, and then I was like, what the fuck? This is interesting. And then I just like hit up my friends. I was like, I'm coming to your studio. I'll wear a mask. I'm gonna film it.
And that's the real answer to how this all came together.
That's actually where it started. Yeah. And if I have an episode too, if you go, there's actually 12 episodes, and the next episode we just shot in LA is Shepherd Ferry, and that comes out, I don't know, as soon as we finish editing it. So, but we plan to premiere that soon. But you can go to the website, and there's more episodes if you're interested in seeing more.
Have you? Would you say you've learned anything about people or the people that you're interviewing during this?
Yeah.
So one big takeaway that you could sort of pin down.
I don't know. I don't know. I
see the good in people's differences or something like that.
Yeah, I think I get to see people's contradictions. Like, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for what people, you know, question in their life, you know, and what things they question, things they're like afraid of, not sure of, you know, the kind of gray areas. And I think that's where I want to live. Extremes are fun, but like, and to come back to labeling, like, nothing is black and white. There's so much in between, and I think the gray area is where I want to live as a human and in this work.
And I think that's like quite evident,
Nuance.
Where America seems quite politically charged, like super binary at the moment, right?
Polarity.
It's just, especially during that pandemic, in
Polarizing,
that period, it was just so, you know, this way or that way.
Absolutely.
Well, how does this then, because I've seen this as sort of starting to feed into your street practice, how does this work?
Yeah, okay, so originally I'm making these films because galleries shut down, murals shut down, everything shut down, but once everything opened up, I'm like, oh shit, you know, I love making art. I love, like, all these different extensions of art, like I was saying. So, of course, we're going to go paint a mural for this project. We're going to go create an exhibition for this project. We had an exhibition in the Urban Nation Museum in Berlin recently, and we completely took over a space, had installations, ceramics, like for each artist, individual ceramics for each episode. Like, so as an artist, as a creative that has like multifaceted, you know, interests, I just was like, oh, let's do all that. And so now it's just become something where the episodes are the seed of sort of the source of all the inspiration that provides all the context for other works. Like the murals you'll see here. Okay, so we also created like a filter, because obviously if I'm making a green screen project, there's got to be a green screen filter. So like you go to the mural I'm working on now, and there's a filter on my Instagram where you can go and the mural like activates basically to relate to the videos. And so you can see things happen to the wall in real time, like the way I'm projecting these unconventional portraits of interviews of these people.
How loosely connected to these characters are the visuals that we see underneath them?
Oh shit. That's another great question, my friend. I love you. I respect you.
That's why I'm
I appreciate you. So to you, I think this just seems like interesting visuals, and maybe you connected to it in your own way, but they're super tailored to the individual, and they're as much as they're a portrait, like an unconventional interview, they're like a portrait of this person. from what I know of them. I reach out to them. I get information about their all about them, their youth, their interests, all these things, and then what I know about them. And then that's jumbled with like things I just think are cool. But ultimately, when they see them, they're like, holy shit, this embodies me. And so for each of these individuals, it's even more personal for them. And it's like my gift, again, sharing something. So it's just where I get to like make art with others in a way, which is something, again, that I really want to do throughout my life.
Yes, I like that. I gave you guys loads of warning on this. I told you I was going to ask you guys if you had any questions. I gave you like 4 minutes in there to come up with a question. Anyone ask? Anyone got any questions for Rabbi? Yes.
Yes. How do you make those decisions on who you want to invite apart from your friends, and how do you make your decisions on what to insert into the green screen?
I think the best answer I can give you is making decisions on people next is like, I want different walks of life. I want a grocery store bagger. I want like a sex worker. I want taboo. I want mundane, and I want celebrity. Like I think these are all like people. There's so many interesting people in the world that like maybe aren't celebrities, but also celebrities are fucking interesting as hell. Why are we like obsessed with celebrity? You know what I mean? I want Obama. I want Christian Bale, like of the celebrities. But I also, like I said, like a mailman, an Uber driver. Like there's so many people, and like everyone's a character. I mean, some people are boring as hell, for sure. But like, even the boring people are characters, right? Because they're so boring. You're like, how is this possible? So everyone's unique, you know, as ununique as we all are, like on this like ant farm of a planet, you know, but we're also very unique. And so, yeah, capturing just all sorts of people. I think it started with artists, but now it's like obviously going to turn into more than that.
Has this woven itself into really the core of where your direction for the future is going?
Absolutely.
Nice. So this is early stages.
Obama. I want Obama. If you're watching
out.
Obama, I'm coming for you. I want Obama. I want George Bush. Imagine both of those. But like, okay, it's school teacher. You know, a school teacher.
You're a school
and
teacher.
then the student. I think we're working on an episode where it's both in the episode, like having both, and then maybe narrating both in one, which is a new idea. Yeah, I'm excited.
Who's your favorite teacher?
You? What am I supposed to
I
say?
don't know. I wanted to find out.
My favorite teacher
is cool.
Honestly, I think we're gonna.
Because some people have like that one teacher that just like totally changed the direction of their life.
I think it's gonna be a lot of red tape getting into a school, getting waivers from all the kids. So I'll just take what teacher I can get at this point. We'll see. There's a school in LA that I think we can get into because I have a mural there, and
No,
talk to the principal.
He's saying that like everyone has that one teacher that changed their life. Is that the guy you're gonna do?
Mrs. Levy, second grade.
Exactly.
Sorry, I got you. If you're Mrs.
You got
Levy.
me on that one. yeah. Got that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Mrs. Levy.
Okay. Any other questions?
Sweet.
We've got access to the next door room if those that are shy want to ask questions directly to Rabbi without having to go through an interface. You can just go straight to the source next door for a little bit of time, so you can grab a drink there. One more time, can you put your hands together for Rabbi, please?
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Once again, thank you to Extra Walls and US Concert for making all this happening.
Thank you.
We have some more talks coming up here next weekend, so if you are around, got a whole panel of it. Thank you very much.
Great. Between two pieces of bread, that's